Greetings. This is a short video to show you how to create a weighted graph in Sage using an adjacency matrix. Remember that we can create an unweighted graph using an adjacency matrix in Sage by writing out the matrix in Sage like this and then using the graph command with that matrix as the argument to create the graph. In an ordinary adjacency matrix, the entry in the ij position is 1 if node I is connected to node j and 0 otherwise. To make an adjacency matrix for a weighted graph, if two nodes are connected with an edge that has a weight, we're simply going to use the value of the weight instead of a 1. For example, let's make a weighted graph on 4 vertices 0, 1, 2, and 3. I'd like 0 to be connected to 1 and 2 with edge weights 10 and 5 respectively. Also connect 0 to 3 with weight 6, and then finally I'd like to connect 1 to 2 with a weight of 12. So let's make the matrix that would represent this graph. Let's call it M. We're going to type M equals, then the word matrix, then open up a set of parentheses, and then inside that a set of square brackets. For the first row, we're going to put in another set of square brackets to represent the row. In the brackets for the first row, we're going to put the weights for the connections. The first entry is 0 because node 0 is not connected to itself with a loop. 0 is connected to 1, and ordinarily I would put a 1 here to indicate that connection, but since this is a weighted graph, I'm going to put a 10 there, because that is the weight, or the cost, of the edge that goes between 0 and 1. Likewise, I'm going to put a 5 in this third position, because 0 is connected to 2 with a weight of 5, and then finally a 6 in that last position, because 0 is connected to 3 with a weight of 6. Now in row 2, which corresponds to node 1 because we start counting at 0, I'll put a 10 in the first spot because 1 is connected to 0 with a weight of 10. We have to put this here because if 0 is connected to 1, then 1 is connected to 0 since this is an undirected graph, and so we have to have symmetry inside the matrix entries. There's going to be a 0 in the second position because 1 is not connected to itself. 1 is connected to 2 with weight 12, and so I'll put 12 here. And then finally, I'm going to put a 0 in the last spot because 1 is not connected to 3. For row 3, which corresponds to node number 2, similarly, we're going to put in 5, 12, 0, 0. And then finally, in row 4, which corresponds to node number 3, we're going to have 6, 0, 0, 0. Now we'll use the usual graph command here with a capital G to construct a graph from the matrix, just like we did for unweighted graphs. But we have to tell Sage that this is a weighted graph by giving it a new second argument, which we've never used before, weighted equals true. This will tell Sage what to do with the non-zero entries, most of which are not 1, that are in this matrix. So having done that, we're going to hit Shift-Enter or click the Evaluate button, and the graph is defined. It doesn't show up automatically, so to show this graph, we're going to use the usual .show method. If I do that, notice that the graph is shown, but the weights are not. If you want to see the weights, then you pass the option edge labels equals true with an underscore there between the word edge and the word labels inside the show method. And then when you reevaluate, the weights will show up superimposed on top of the edges. And that is how to make a weighted graph from an adjacency matrix using Sage.